They go to Arkansas. Now, Arkansas has a couple of bad losses on their resume. It's a team that Arkansas is a talented team, so you can't take anything for granted just because they have had a few struggles here in the early going. They're still a top 10 team according to D1 Baseball. I'm not so sure I agree with that, but nevertheless, that's where D1 Baseball has them. But they're still a really good team. That's still always a difficult place for Mississippi State to go and win. So you've got a challenge. Like I said, you need your top three starters to continue to do what they've done all year long. You need them to start going deeper into the games than they have been. And I'll be very interested to see how Coach Parker and Coach O'Connor handle the pitching staff now that we're hitting SEC play. It's always been with Lemonis, he would try to save their arms as much as he could until postseason play, and it worked really well in 2019 and 2021. The rest of the years, the pitching was just so bad it didn't really matter. You couldn't save anybody anyway. So, like I said, it's the years that followed it didn't really make it that much of a difference because, like I said, it was hard for them to even get to the postseason. And they did, but those last couple of years, but didn't look good in the process. Like I said, so I'll be very interested to see how he handles the pitching staffs this weekend. If those guys are rolling, will he let them go 6, 7, 8 innings, or is he going to pull them to try to save their arms for later on in the season? So like I said, it's going to be, I'm not real familiar with how he handled things in Virginia. I'm not going to sit there and try to tell you that that's something that I kept a track of or that I always followed along with. I have no idea. I have no idea what he tried to do when he was the coach at Virginia, but it's always a challenge for coaches in this day and age of baseball to try to keep those arms fresh and try to keep them preserved. And also those arms are really young and they can be prone to injury. So there's a lot of balancing that you have to do with this type of team, and you've got to figure out how to handle it. And he's got a track record of being able to do so. So I expect them to do okay. Like I said, hopefully you can go up there and win 2. If you can win 2, that would be fantastic. You've done pretty much all that you can do. It would have been great if you could have beaten either UCLA or Southern Miss, and I still contend that they should have only 1 loss on their record instead of 2. But, you did everything else that you should have done. You don't have any bad losses on your schedule right now. You don't have any bad losses on your resume. So you've done everything that you need to do to set yourself up well going into SEC play. Now they just got to continue to do what they've done so far, build an even stronger resume as we go into SEC play.